It's Sunday, April 2nd, 2023. A few things to talk about today. I'm going to start with this. A lot of people are absolutely oblivious to what is going on. And what do I mean by that? We look at quantitative easing starting all over again. We just watched the Fed inject $500 billion back into the banks. We've watched all these stimulus checks reach millions of Americans, $7 trillion of printed money injected into the economy, all being done in a 30-month period. We're weekly, we're sending money to other countries by the billions. It just goes on and on and on. And people are just oblivious to this because they think nothing is going to happen, that there'll be no repercussions. And just because they haven't gotten a bill in the mail, what they don't understand is they're going to pay for all this through inflation. So every time they go to the store, every time they go to the pump, every time they pay for a service, they're going to be billed for all of these trillions of dollars. And I guess since they're not getting a bill in the mail, they just ignore it. But how are people ignoring what is happening when they go to the store, when they go to the gas pump, when they pay for a service? They're paying more and more and more. I was watching a video last night, a channel that I watch every now and then. The guy's name is Lucky Lopez. He's in the car business, goes to the auctions. And he was talking about household income in America and how are people paying for automobiles right now. He said that the average household income back in 2019 was $68,000. In 2022, he said it went down to $54,000. Now, I didn't find any evidence of that. He could be right. What I saw, it was closer to $70,000, but it doesn't matter because when you look at car prices and you look at the average auto payment that people are paying right now on top of insurance to insure that vehicle, some people right now, according to his video, are paying over $1,000 a month for a Camry because they paid so much more over the listed price of that car a couple years ago, where we saw this complete FOMO and all this money going into people's bank accounts, and they couldn't spend it fast enough. So people were willing to pay, $10 or $20 or $50,000 over the listed price of an automobile, and now people are paying $1,000 a month for a Camry. So while people are paying, maybe it's $700, some people are paying $800 a month for a car payment, $900, $1,200. At the end of the day, people are paying more for a vehicle. They're paying more for that monthly payment while everything in their life is going up. Taxes are going up, food's going up, gas to put in that car is going up, medical insurance, auto insurance, everything is going up except people's paychecks. They're not going up. And I was looking at the auto loan rates, and this was interesting. If we look at auto loan rates by credit score, if you have a 661 to 780, that's prime. You're going to pay roughly 4.9% for a new vehicle. That's what you're going to pay to borrow money. A used vehicle, you're going to pay 5.47%. Now it's going to change here. Once your FICO score goes to 601 to 660, that's considered non-prime. New vehicle, you're going to pay 7.25% to finance. Used, 9.81%, nearly 10%. Now, a lot of people are in this bracket, subprime, 501 to 600. New vehicle, you're going to pay a little over 10% to finance it. Used vehicle, you're going to pay 15.81% to finance it. And we have a category called deep subprime. That's 300 to 500. A lot of people in this category too, and a lot more going to be in this category. Well, if you want to buy a new car and you're deep subprime, you're paying 12.93%. That's for new. And used, you're paying 19.8% used. How are people doing this? Now, I was just pulling up some other numbers too. So this morning I was just looking at some numbers, crunching some numbers, trying to make some sense out of all of this, how people are doing this. But you look at the average home in Orange County, California, it's roughly $955,000. Some sites will say it's even more than that. The household income in Orange County is roughly about $100,000. That's the average median income. If we break it down to median price of these homes based on bedrooms, so if you go to Orange County and you find a one-bedroom house, it's probably going to be 50, 60 years old. That house on average is selling for $489,000. Now, if you put 20% down on this home, your monthly payment is going to be $3,000 a month. Now, if we look at the median price of a two-bedroom home in Orange County, California, with 20% down, $4,120 a month. Now we look at a three-bedroom house in Orange County. This is the median average, $1.05 million. 20% down, your payment, your monthly mortgage payment is going to be $6,400. That's at the current rate at about 6.85% today. Four-bedroom house in Orange County going to be around 1.5 million, maybe a little bit more. 20% down. Think about 20% down. What is that? $300,000? You're going to be paying almost $11,000 a month. That's going to be your monthly mortgage payment. Don't forget, you've got HOAs, you've got car insurance, you've got car payments, you've got credit card payments, you might have student loan debt payments. It goes on and on and on. I have no idea how people are doing this. It's absolutely incredible. Shifting gears here, article from USA Today. A warning sign has been flashing red. How weak RV sales could mean a 2023 recession. Now, somebody commented yesterday. If you haven't checked out yesterday's video, please go back to yesterday's video. A subscriber, a friend of mine now, Mike, came down from San Bernardino County, and we walked the RV lot a little bit yesterday and just kind of talked with him with what he's seeing in his area and his opinion of things that he's seeing and what is to come. And it was a really, really good video. So make sure you go back to yesterday's video. But just I wanted to acknowledge this comment from yesterday. And somebody said, why does this even matter? Who cares? That's what they said about yesterday's video and what's happening in the RV industry. Well, I say this, it matters because the RV industry employs a lot of people. That's why it matters. And a lot of people in the RV industry have been losing their jobs for the past year. It also matters because it's a huge barometer. If people don't have discretionary money, they're not buying RVs, they're not buying fifth wheelers, they're not buying campers, they're not buying motorhomes, they're not buying this stuff. And we're watching this industry get absolutely hammered because interest rates have gone way up. People are losing jobs. They're making less money now. Real wages are down, and they just can't do it. Many people just can't even afford to put the gas in these vehicles or tow these vehicles because it's just gotten so expensive. But this is what is going to continue to happen as interest rates go up. It is getting much more expensive to borrow money, and people just now are squeezed, and this is going to affect industries like this. It's going to affect the boat industry. It's affecting the RV industry. It's going to continue to affect the auto industry. But what I thought was interesting too was you could finance these RVs for 10 to 20 years. Think about how many people now are on the hook for this debt for the next 10 to 20 years as we head into a Great Depression. Incredible, incredible. Shipments from the manufacturers to the dealers are down 50%. I was reading yesterday that sales are down 30%. So it does matter because this is an economic barometer to what is happening, and many people in this industry who make these vehicles have lost their jobs, are going to lose their jobs. Many people who sell these vehicles are going to lose their jobs. Many of these RV lots are going to go belly up. They're going to close down. So it's sad but true, but this is why it matters, because this industry employs a lot of people, from the people who make it to the people who sell it. And I say this, there's going to be a lot of sales with RVs, with motorhomes, campers, etc. We're going to see a lot of sales coming in the next couple of years, no doubt about it. Here's another reflection of the economy. This coming from the U.S. Sun. Doors shutter. Party City announces another store closure after 22 locations shutter during bankruptcy. They declared bankruptcy a couple months ago, back in January. The latest store that they're going to be closing now is in Jackson, Michigan, 40 miles west of Ann Arbor. Another one from the Sun here. Final day, major U.S. mall closes after 43 years of business as upper floors have turned into a ghost town. Galleria Mall in New York, now closing. This is in White Plains, New York. Since 2016, roughly 40% of the nation's department stores have closed, and yet people think nothing's wrong. Over 60 major retailers have filed bankruptcy. I don't know about you. I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime. People who are much older than me will agree. They have never seen anything like this in their lifetime. This is historic. This is the worst economy America has ever seen. And again, as I've said in the past, I don't compare this to 2008. I'm comparing this to 1929. This is where it's all going, ladies and gentlemen. Here's another one. Breaking. OPEC cuts oil production. So within the past few hours of today, this news came out. OPEC has agreed to cut 1 million barrels a day in oil production. This comes just after Russia announced its own cut of 500,000 barrels a day. And why does this matter? Well, the cuts are going to drive up the price of oil. So this is going to result in higher gasoline prices, higher diesel prices at the pump. This is just a squeeze play against the U.S. They know that we have depleted our strategic petroleum reserves. I think we are going to replenish these reserves in the fourth quarter of this year, if I'm correct about that. But right now, if we continue to deplete our reserves, which we're going to do to artificially keep oil prices down, keep prices down at the pump, if we continue to do that, that's going to be extremely dangerous for the security of this nation. At some point, we're going to have to replenish these reserves. And when we do this, it's going to be so expensive. And now with OPEC and Russia cutting, this is a 1.5 million barrel a day cut. It's going to be much more expensive to replenish these reserves when and if we decide to do this. Fox Business economics expert issues dire warning on serious threat faced by U.S. dollar. It's inevitable. Since World War II, the U.S. dollar has been the world's strongest currency on planet Earth, but the dollar could lose its power. John Carney said on Fox and Friends over the weekend, Russia and China may be preparing a new gold-backed currency. It's not only a serious threat, he says, I think it's inevitable. Now, remember, this is not going to be 100% gold back. It never has been when we look at history. You're going to see, I believe, some currency, more than likely the yuan, backed 20, 25, 30% backed by gold. And when this happens, the world is going to run to it, and the world is going to ditch dollars. Those dollars are going to come back, ladies and gentlemen, and you are going to see hyperinflation right here in America. Your standard of living is going to change overnight. If you think you're poor right now, wait till you see what is going to happen when those dollars come back. China began to de-dollarize their business dealings during the Russian sanctions. They saw what happened. The world saw what happened. If you're holding dollars, you're going to be enslaved to America. If America doesn't like what you're doing, they can shut you down because we have weaponized the US dollar. And the world is sick and tired of a weaponized US dollar. And they're going to do whatever it takes to get away, to dump, de-dollarize, and go to something else. And I do believe that China is going to do this. Over the last 2 decades, the US dollar has lost 12 percentage points of market share, falling from 71% to 59%. Extremely dangerous. We are on borrowed time. Every percentage now point that we go down, the closer we get to 50, I think once we get around 50%, this country is going to look like a different place. It's already beginning to look like a different place as we begin to slide into more of a third world type country. Once we get to 50, 49, 48, now China has world dominance. And I think that it's going to go way beyond, way below 59%. I think that at some point, I mean, it's scary to think this, but I mean, you could see 90% to 10%. Instead, I mean, we're at 71 right now to 59%. These numbers could go 90% to 10%, where 90% of the world are using this new currency versus the other 10%. The dollar is on borrowed time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm borrowed time. This is really, really serious stuff. And now this is being talked about on major outlets now, okay? On CNBC, on Fox Business. This is now being talked about everywhere. And you know, if they're talking about this being a possibility, how serious it really, really is. And this is why, to me, it's so important to be owning precious metals. What does China own? They own more gold than anybody on planet Earth. What do the central banks own? What are they stockpiling right now? It's gold, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sitting here giving you financial advice. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I have an order in with SD Bullion that has not gotten here yet because they're so busy. Every metal dealer out there is slammed and behind. But I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. This week, I'm going to order more gold. If you're thinking about ordering gold or silver or any precious metal, link down below, SD Bullion. I've been dealing with them for 4.5 years. Again, as I've said many, many times, because I know people get very, very triggered that, you know, I recommend SD Bullion. You can get it wherever you want to get it, wherever your heart desires. I just believe you need to get it from a reputable dealer, someone you trust. I trust SD Bullion, so you can check out that link if you need some help. But be warned, it may not arrive in the next week. They are extremely, extremely behind like everyone else. But at the end of the day, at least I know it's on its way. I can lock in the price. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting week with everything happening. Politically, everything that's happening socially, everything that's happening economically, geopolitically, a lot happening. We have to be protecting ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. We must be protecting ourselves, whether it's physically, financially, spiritually. Right now, the main thing that I must express to everybody is be as proactive as you can be. Don't wait for something to happen. Don't be reactive. This is the time to be proactive. If you have the means, if you have the ability, if you're working, if you have a couple side hustles going on, stack some cash. Yes, I know that that inflation is eating it up, but you need some cash right now. You need to raise some capital, and of course, you need precious metals. You need all the essentials of food and water. I'm going to repeat this daily. Keep stockpiling all the essential gear that you think that you need. Work on your weak links. And as I leave you today, thank God tonight for everything you have, your friends, your family, opportunity, being awake. I think we should all thank God that He has woken us up and that we have some direction and that we're taking action. This is extremely important. The difference between the losers and the winners at the end of this game, ladies and gentlemen, are going to be the people who were awake versus the people who were dumbed down zombies who did not want to wake up. They just wanted to drink their Starbucks, watch their cartoons, go to their baseball games, ignore reality. These are going to be the people who lose. The people who took action, the people who woke up, these will be the winners. These will be the people people who prevail and win, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to leave it there today. God bless all of you. Have a phenomenal weekend. We'll see what happens this week. It should be pretty interesting. They're going to try to keep this thing held together with glue, with string, with wire. But we know that this thing is going to break apart. And as I leave you, I'm going to use the analogy like this. People just think that, well, things should just, bubbles should just burst overnight. Markets should just crash overnight. They don't understand these things take years to develop, years to inflate before they break apart. It's almost like when you're flying in an airplane and everything's going fine, you're flying, but you don't realize that the bolts on the wing have gotten very, very loose. The wing is still there, the plane is still flying, everything is okay, but people don't see the bolts getting looser and looser and looser. And at some point they begin to break apart and the wing starts to shake and people begin to get nervous, and then it's too late because the wing breaks off and the plane crashes and it's over. That's where we're at. The bolts on the wing are getting very, very loose, and pretty soon the wing is going to start shaking and the wing is going to break off this plane and this thing is going to nosedive and accelerate out of control. So make sure you have your parachute, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you have your parachute, because we are going to see a crash landing here and it is going to be a nasty one. God bless. Stay safe out there. And as always, I look forward to speaking with all of you very, very soon.